My first time baking these perfectly layered croissants, and there cannot be an easier way. Watch till the end to know what I learned from my mistakes. Let's start. First up, we melt 125 grams of butter. You may microwave for 5 seconds if you live in a cold place and beat it until soft and smooth. So, we use this butter to apply to the layers. You can beat it with your hands or you may use an electric beater. Once the butter is smooth, let's just start with the dough. I have taken half a cup of milk, one egg, and 1 teaspoon of yeast. I'll mix everything together well and let it rest for 5 minutes. I have taken instant yeast. You can take the normal one also. I have now taken 400 grams of refined flour or maida and I am adding the yeast, milk, and egg mixture to it gradually while mixing it with another hand. Once all the liquid is added, I will now add 1 tablespoon of butter, 1.5 teaspoon of sugar, and half teaspoon of salt. And after that, I'll start kneading it with my hands. Make sure you don't knead it very hard. We have to make a soft dough, and we should keep our hands soft all the time. The tip is to combine it with a spatula or a butter knife initially, just to combine everything together, and later you can use a very soft hand to make a dough or form a dough. Do not try not to knead it very hard like how you do it for the Indian breads. A soft dough with a texture like so should be formed. Now just cover it and leave it for 30 minutes to rest. This is how the dough looks like after 30 minutes. I have now dusted the board with a lot of flour because here is where we are going to make small rolls like chapatis. So this is my dough. I'll just cut it into four and start making small balls out of it. You can make smaller balls. What I have done is later on I thought that these balls might be too big. So I just doubled them and made small balls instead of these bigger ones. So as you can see, I have now made the smaller balls and now I have almost 8 to 9 balls, and now I'll be rolling into small chapatis. But before that, I will just cover these balls for 10 minutes and let them rest for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, let's just start flattening these balls. We have to make evenly sized thin flat bread. Even though this method is less complicated, the croissants are equally tasty. The method is still time consuming. I tasted the croissants, they're crispy, they're tasty, they're buttery. I can vouch for the taste, so please do try this recipe. Make sure you do not put butter on the last layer. Once all the layers are done, let them rest in the freezer for 30 minutes and make sure you do not leave them inside for more than 30 minutes. Now we need to flatten the layers, which in fact will form layers for our croissants. Flatten it thinly on a large surface. I thought this surface was large enough, but then I had to move to the table to make it even thinner, to make the layers even thinner. And here's the mistake that I did. I was a little lazy and I did not measure the triangles that I was cutting. So my croissants were not all evenly shaped, but they were all differently shaped. Once I figured out they are not evenly shaped, I made them in two batches, one the smaller ones and one which were the normal sized. So the tinier croissants took lesser time to bake, and that is why I made them in two batches. Once you cut the dough into triangles, roll them inwards to give them a shape like a croissant. Once we are done giving shapes to all the triangles, we will allow the dough to rest for 2 to 3 hours. This will let the dough to rise well. As you can see, the dough has almost doubled in size. Now we shall bake the croissants at 180 degrees Celsius in a preheated oven for 20 to 25 minutes. Just keep a watch after 25 minutes so that we don't burn and get a good color and texture. Make sure you have applied a little butter on top of the dough before you put them in the oven. Hope you liked the recipe. If you really liked it and want me to make them again in a different way, just let me know and comment down below. Thank you so much. Bye bye.